Hi, welcome to the CES Academy podcast. Listen to every episode and learn about topics that we should be concerned about on a daily basis. In this second episode, we'll talk about the perception we have on overpopulation and the consequences that it brings to present times and onward. Stay tuned, get real, and face the music.
Good morning, teacher, and everybody. To answer your question, overpopulation it's about the excess of human beings or animals in a location or area. When people take resources without any restriction, overpopulation becomes a problem. We need to know how fast we are going.
Yes, Juan, to give some context, the number of people goes up to 78 million every year. At this moment, there are more than 7 billion people around the world.
That's true, Sarah. We expect to double the number in less than 100 years. We know overpopulation is becoming a problem for everybody. Years back, no one was thinking about this. So that's why we are in this situation.
I agree with you too. As a student, I know why we need to learn about this. We need to change this global problem because we are the future, so it is good to have the opportunity to talk about this and share this information with everyone.
Thank you, Samuel. We also need to question each other about the factors that cause overpopulation, so what can they be?
Thank you, Valeria. To answer your question, we ask you how is human population explosion possible? There are many factors that make overpopulation possible. There are always new medical advancements. Agricultural production is getting more efficient. But there are negative factors like poverty and lack of education, and if combined, these two factors, people don't plan well to have a family.
Yes, Santiago, that is a big problem. But there is also the effect of new medical technologies. They reduce mortality rates and birth rates go up. That increases the number of people. This also helps with pandemics to treat sick people better and efficiently.
I agree with you, Isabella. There are better medical control for pregnant women to have a baby. This includes education and programs too. The increase of pregnant women can happen because of social tendencies from families and marriage.
The only problem is that these educational programs don't get to people without money or a good social class, so the programs are not effective to lower the statistics.
Thank you, Santiago. I also want to mention that GMOs, genetically modified foods, are complicating the situation more. It's strange, people, but there isn't a way to control it. Now we need to wonder what effects overpopulation brings.
Thank you, Andres. My classmates and I have some information about that. There are many effects like global warming, environmental pollution, loss of habitat, loss of fresh water, new pandemics, lower life expectancy, and others.
Thank you, Luciana. I want to talk about global warming first. Climate change is and will be an ecological problem as it allows more greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Scientists are trying to find ways to reduce these gases with less consumption and new technology, But the increasing number in the population doesn't help with these efforts. So we know that we need less gases, but also less feed on the planet. 98% of the scientists doing research on this problem agree that climate change comes from human activities.
Now, the issue of lack of fresh water. According to the UN Water, 75% of the planet Earth is covered in water. 97.5% is the ocean and 2.5% is fresh water. If we take these numbers and include glaciers and islands, but also rivers, lakes, ponds, and groundwater, we understand that most fresh water is too polluted or we can make use of it. With this information, we can evidence that we can only use less than 1% of fresh water. In the future, this is going to be a bigger problem considering overpopulation.
Thank you, Danielle. Habitat loss is also important to talk about. Overpopulation is responsible for the loss of ecosystems such as rainforests, coral reefs, wetlands, and Arctic ice. In the past, rainforests covered 14% of the land. Now they only cover 16%.
On the other hand, coral reefs are dying. Now there are less than 70% of them. Pollution and global warming are the reason and they are connected to overpopulation.
Another problem is species extinction. Humans are exterminating many different species. In 2012, a research showed that nearly 63 species were lost around the world. Scientists say that in a few decades, half the plant and animal species will be extinct as a result of climate change. Habitat loss, pollution, contaminated oceans, overfishing, poaching, and finally, overpopulation. Thank you.
To conclude this section of the podcast, I want to share about our life expectancy. If we think about African countries, they are always suffering from poverty and lack of basic needs like water, food, medical attention, and education. They suffer from malnutrition, so they die young, but the population still growing by the awareness of the situation and help from the government.
I want to say that we can see how these problems are all connected to overpopulation. In my opinion, this is all simple to fix if we are together as one. We are learning more and more about prevention and change for our future. Now, if we are positive, what possible solution can we start promoting?
Thank you, Angel. Well, for possible solution to this problem, there are 9 population strategies to stop short of 9 billion. They go as follows.
1. Provide universal access to safe and effective contraceptive options for both sexes. 2. Guarantee education through secondary school for all, especially girls. 3. Eradicate gender bias from law, economic opportunity, health, and culture.
Offer age appropriate sexuality education for all students, and out policies that reward parents financially based on the number of children they have. Integrate lessons on population, environment, and development into school curricula at multiple levels.
Put prices on environmental costs and impacts. Adjust to, to an aging population instead of boosting childbearing through government incentives and programs.
Well, well, well. Today was a wonderful day. We learned about overpopulation, the causes, the effects, and some solutions that we can put into practice to lower the risks and consequences. Thanks for joining us on this episode. Next one, 5B students will talk about malnutrition, another of the consequences from overpopulation. Follow us on our social networks and have a nice day. Until next time.